You're listening to BBC Radio Wales and I'm Anna Ryder-Richardson. Now, my next guest has been wowing us with his vocal prowess for over a decade, since he first came into our consciousness when he won X Factor in 2009. He's a West End star, a panto darling, recording artist, and he's out on the road this autumn with a stunning tribute to George Michael on his Freedom Tour. I am delighted to have with me the gorgeous and ridiculously talented, it's Joe McElderry.
Hello. What a lovely intro. Thank you.
But you are ridiculously talented.
Oh, that's very kind.
I tell you what. Let's just talk about the Freedom Tour. Tell us all about it.
So this is literally been kind of in the works for about a year, well, actually a bit longer than a year now. And I was approached and asked if I would take out a show on the road celebrating the music of George Michael. And I'm a huge fan of him, and I have been since being young, because my mum was a huge fan, and so I grew up listening to all of his music from being very, very young, and then obviously was very, very lucky to sing with him on the final of X Factor. And so we head out on tour, and obviously coming down to Cardiff and Llandudno in Wales as well, and celebrating all of the incredible music that he released, and it's just going to be a night of great music. Obviously we all know and love his music so much, and from the ones where you can dance in the aisles to sing along to some of his like heartbreakingly beautiful ballads. So for me as a singer, it's a really, really exciting project to be able to take that music out on the road and be able to sing it, because it's some of the best music, isn't it? I mean, we all love it.
Yes, we do. We love it. And looking back at the videos of you performing with George Michael, you were just a baby. It must be such an incredible memory. And it's had apparently 7 million views. Well, it's going to be 7,000,001 because I watched it again just now. You were just a little Joe.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it? I was just chatting to somebody a couple of days back, and I was saying, in the world of kind of all of our world of work, you're always kind of just on a treadmill, aren't you, of running from the next project to the next thing, and you never really kind of get time to digest any moments. And I stumbled across it. I was during lockdown. I was sat and I'd had a few bottles of red wine, of course, and didn't everybody during lockdown?
Yes.
And I went on YouTube and I thought, you know what, I've never watched half of the stuff that I did on X Factor and other things that I've done over the years. And I just spent the evening kind of reminiscing and looking back on some stuff that I've never even seen before. And I had that same feeling of looking back and being like, God, I was so young. I didn't feel that young at the time, but when I look at it now, I'm like, oh, I'm so innocent, and I can see the fear in my eyes, which I don't know if anybody else can probably see that, but when you can kind of, you recognize it in yourself. So I can see how young and overwhelmed I was at the time.
But I think also the delight as well. I mean, it's almost like maybe meeting Santa Claus or something like that, because I had my mouth wide open watching it, because it was George Michael, for goodness sake.
And I think he is and was such an icon, and I think nobody knew obviously he was coming on the show either, so it was such a shock for somebody, and I think somebody is kind of well respected in the industry as well. X Factor always had its kind of critics, as much as it was the biggest show at the time, so I think people were genuinely shocked that he was there as well, because he was such a music legend. So it was a really, really special moment to be a part of, and to me he's one of the best male vocalists of all time. So the fact that I got to sing with him, was incredible. And the fact that he's passed now is really sad, because I think he would have still had so much to offer this industry.
But how fantastic that you definitely were touched literally by him, and that you can carry on his legacy with your Freedom Tour.
Yes.
Which George Michael track do you think you connect the most with on a personal level, Joe?
Well, I mean, obviously, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me is kind of a personal one, in the sense of getting to sing with him. But I think I've been listening to a lot of the material, and obviously I'm in rehearsals at the moment, kind of going through all of the stuff, and some of his lyrics were actually heartbreaking, on some of those ballads. I love Jesus to a Child. I'm really, really, really looking forward to singing that, because it's beautiful and the lyrics are beautiful as well. And also You Have Been Loved is also an incredible one that I really connect with. What else? I'm trying to think. I love A Different Corner. Do you know, the one thing about this show is we were spoilt for choice of songs to put in there, because his catalogue of stuff is so extensive and it's so well known. You know, there's so many of his songs are so well known that we actually, even just on the hits alone, we had more than a show's worth of material. So it's been a really kind of interesting thing to kind of edit that down and try and knot different albums and include little medleys and segues of songs to kind of include all of the amazing stuff he released.
Joe McElderry, please stay with me whilst we go for a very quick update, and we'll be back with you shortly. You're listening to Anna Ryder Richardson on BBC Radio Wales, and I'm joined today by the gorgeous Joe McElderry, who's going on tour this autumn with his glowing tribute to George Michael. Now, you are the busiest man in the whole world, Joe, because what are you up to after the tour? Aren't you in Panto?
Yes, so we finished the tour. I think I've got about 3 or 4 days before rehearsals start, and I'm up at the Theatre Royal in Newcastle. From one show to a very different one, I will then be playing the Fairy Godfather. So
I love it.
So yes, lots of sequins, lots of sparkle and wings and all of those kind of things. But I was lucky enough to be invited to perform there in the Panto. Obviously I live 20 minutes from the theatre, so it was a real kind of luxury for me to be able to perform at home and be at home for Christmas. And they kindly, said, we'd love to if you'd come back again. And it's such a brilliant show there. It's one of the flagships of the company that I work for, and it really it's like kind of Vegas meets the West End meets Panto. It's truly a spectacular show, so I'm really, really looking forward to it. And it's crazy. I can't believe we're already in October. This year has flown by, and it's kind of taken us by surprise how quick the year's gone.
And, of course, everyone will be exploding to see Panto properly as well this year. So does that explain the very sparkly sequin boots on your Twitter account?
Well, I've got a bit of an obsession with sparkles and sequins and things, and I suppose the great thing about my job is when you're on stage, you can kind of go a little bit over the top, can't you, with costumes and outfits and stuff. So a lot of the fashion and outfits for the Freedom Tour are kind of little nods to George's fashion and kind of because his fashion was a massive part of his legacy in terms of all of the music videos and the kind of creative side of stuff that he did. So we're kind of nodding with that, with some sparkly stuff and the kind of cowboy leather jacket looks that he had throughout his career, and then the smart suit outfits, because I know he had a kind of a massive era of all of that. So it's kind of my fashion mixed with that, with a little bit of extra sparkle, of course. Why not? If you can get away with it, I'll say let's do it.
I say so. You fairy godfather, how fabulous. Now, I can't obviously let you go without talking about your Instagram and your beautiful grandma Hilda, where you've been doing some karaoke, or should I say Barbara Streisand. What a duet you do of memories.
Well, she used to be quite a singer herself, and she doesn't really like getting up singing now on her own. So I always get roped into a duet, which I'm more than happy to do it with, because she's truly wonderful. But that was her favourite song, and it was a charity night. It was my best friend's charity night, and it was karaoke, so you basically had to pay to get up on the karaoke, which I thought was quite a good concept of raising money for charity.
Yeah.
And we got up and did a little Barbara Streisand, The Way We Were, which was lovely. It's it's lovely kind of memories for me to be able to have that as well.
Absolutely charming as well. Now, you're coming to Cardiff and Llandudno, which we're very lucky to have you. Will you have a chance, do you think, to enjoy our Welsh hospitality while you're here?
I hope so. And you know what else I want? I want Welsh cakes.
Yeah.
The last time I was there, I got a big bag of them delivered at the stage door, so I'm going to go on the hunt for Welsh cakes as well, because they're lovely.
Oh. Do you know what? You'll be inundated now. That's something we do very well here, is a Welsh cake.
So lovely.
Oh, so lovely catching up with you today, Joe. You've been delightful, and I can't wait for your tour to begin and to see you as the fairy godmother as well. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you so much.